This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
And the pitch is swung on, hit the right field, hit deep. Whitefield going back at the track, over his head, and over the wall. Do you believe that?
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Ramirez with a drive to deep right, away back, goal!
Go Hayes hits a bomb out there by the Rocks. And boy, oh boy, this third inning is now showtime.
It is a Judgian blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to spin rates to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Welcome to A's Cast Live on the field, a Monday edition as we get you ready for the Oakland Athletics against the Fish. The Miami Marlins are in town for a 3-game set. That's Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly, bringing his ball club in here. And if you hear the open there, here comes the judge. They haven't been able to say that a lot in New York. So we have a lot going on to talk about in the game of baseball as you look at the scoreboard behind us. Some huge series as they're not updated, obviously, as I start to look at it, as we're going to have the Subway Series going on. You're going to have Dodgers up against the Brewers. My God, the Dodgers numbers are absolutely unbelievable. Who do we got coming on today? And it's a warm one. So I'll tell you this, if you're coming out to the ballpark, you're going to enjoy some summer weather here at the Oakland Coliseum. Glenn Geffner, the voice of the Marlins, is going to be here at 4:30. We are going to get to the bottom, finally, as Sandy Alcantara got drilled yesterday down in Los Angeles, but is having a year where he is going to be the National League Cy Young Award winner and will get MVP votes. Sandy is as premier pitcher in the game of baseball as there is. And there's a lot of different ways people like to pronounce his name. And since we watch a lot of MLB Network, we do know that people on the East Coast love to butcher names. So I've heard Alcantara. We're going to get the official pronunciation of Sandy Alcantara, because that's what I believe it is. That's what Baseball Pronunciation Guide says. We're going to get to that. And how is Jesus Luzardo doing? The future of the Marlins, Don Mattingly. We'll get that all with the voice of the Marlins, Glenn Geffner, coming up here at 4:30. Just got to meet him, and he's going to be by someone I'm really enjoying pitch, and that is J.P. Sears. J.P. Sears is somebody that there is something about him that when he goes out, you can tell that he's not a player that's just trying to survive. He's going out there to win. And we have talked a lot about it on A's Cast Live. We talked about it on A's Total Access, the post-game show, about how players either are out there to survive or out there to win. J.P. Sears is a guy that's out there to win. And that is a situation where I really have enjoyed watching him. The manager just walking by you, Mark Kotze. It's a revenge series. Hey, Kotz, is this a revenge series for you? A revenge series? Big revenge? Yeah. It's a revenge series. Kotze against the Marlins. Is that the build-up there, Commander?
I mean, first time the Marlins have been here since 2017. Remember, Kotze went 9th overall. Where were you in 1996? Went 9th overall. Next pick, Eric Chavez went 10th.
I was doing San Jose Giants. I was a play-by-play man of the San Jose Giants in 1996, fresh off my senior year at San Jose State.
I was 7.
You were 7?
I would have been 8 later that year.
Because you got to remember, I played against Kotze in college.
Yeah, never took you deep, though.
No, but you could have. I just didn't give him the opportunity.
There were other Cal State Fullerton guys that did that.
There were other Cal State Fullerton guys that did that damage. So it'll be interesting to hear from Glenn Geffner, the voice of the Marlins, and JP Sears. And I forget, David Forst, the general manager, will be here at 5 o'clock. I've got a bunch of questions for him because are you as excited as the general manager? You're the guy that traded for these guys. Are you as excited as we are? And it's hard not to. I mean, it's early, but how are you not super excited about Shea Langoliers? I mean, yesterday, if you guys watch NBC Sports California, A's pre- and post-game live, I do those pre-game hits, and I have to tape them before the game ends. So I'm not always giving exact information with the score because you got to remember, when the game ends, their show starts on TV. My show starts on A's Cast and the A's Radio Network. So I got to produce this thing by like the 8th inning. So I had this whole thing set up yesterday. And then what does Langoliers do? He gets a triple. And that ends the triple streak, by God. It was so hard to believe that this was going on. We had not had a triple in 81 games. So that ends that streak of no triple, 81 games.
Who hit the last one, do you know?
81 games ago?
Yeah, it was in Minnesota. Or it was against Minnesota. I
What
believe.
year? Last year?
No, it was this year. It was 81 games ago. Or it was in May. The guy is still on the team. Actually, I think he leads the team in home runs still.
Seth Brown?
Seth Brown, I believe Seth Brown and Sheldon Noisy are tied for the team lead with 2 triples right now for the A's.
So I already had my thing set. I already recorded it, right? And I'd sent it off to NBC. And then we go out. I go back in and watching the game, and bang, triple. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, I had to redo it. And it's just like every single time this kid gets up, it's something really, really special. And I got to tell you, I'm over the moon over him. I mean, he is showing an ability to drive the ball to all fields. And he's like stepped right up. I mean, if you were somebody, if you looked at JP Sears and Shea Langoliers, Sears and Langoliers, how about that? Could be like a company. If you were somebody had no idea, right? You were just coming to the Coliseum for the first time, and you were just watching this game, you would not really look out at Sears or Langoliers as two guys that were rookies. They're just getting their shot. Now, Sears is a little different, obviously, with his time with the Yankees and being brought up. But Langoliers, if you showed up here and even watched the film from Texas, you would not say, oh, yeah, that guy's just a rookie. I mean, all he has done is rip the ball down the left field line, rip the ball the opposite field, hit an opposite field home run, hit a ball off the wall for a triple. All he has done is hit. Behind the plate, block balls, throws. He's got speed for a catcher. When you had the scouting report sent to you about him during the trade or right after the trade, he has lived up to everything. And everything Fran Reardon told us, down his AAA manager for the Aviators, I mean, it has been super, super impressive to watch Langoliers. And I may even joke with David Forst, the general manager, what is his coat size? And do you know why I would ask what his coat size is?
I have honestly no idea why you would ask what his coat size is.
Well, if you're going to put him in the A's Hall of Fame, we need to know what size the green jacket is.
We got to see how many catches are in the Well, Fosse.
Ray Fosse. Is
that it? Is Ray the only one? Yeah, because no.
Well, Gene Tennis.
Is Tennis in?
Yeah. Didn't Tennis go in? Wasn't he a part of the first?
No, maybe. I'd have to look now.
I thought Gene Tennis was in.
It's
a World Series MVP, for God's sake. 3-time World Series champion.
Let's check the A's Hall of Fame, because if not, it's just Ray Fosse.
Because Gene Tennis, I don't think, is on the list. On the voting for 2023.
I'm pulling it up.
I'm looking at Amelia Schimmel, and you look like you have something you want to say. Is there something you want to say? No? Okay. Gene Tennis has to be in the A's Hall of Fame, right?
Was it in the first class? Was not in the second class.
He's still not in the A's Hall of Fame?
He is not.
That's a travesty. He's on this year's voting list?
Yeah. Mickey Cochran's in, so there's 2.
Okay.
That's a Philadelphia A, though.
That, my friends, is what we call a travesty. What'd you say, Geffner? Geffner needs to go now?
Well, he said he can come on now. If not, he can wait.
All right, let's do him now. That's fine.
All right. Well, I'll wait till he's talking to John Shea. I'll grab him.
We are 100% flexible here on A's Cast Live. But I know, because this is the stuff we need to get excited about. We need to get excited about watching the future, the Oakland Athletics. Who's the future? I can't get excited over 30-year-olds. I'm not excited over a guy who's 28, who's not going to be here long term. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. I don't feel bad that Jed Lowry. I don't feel bad, Stephen Piscotty. I don't feel bad about Elvis. They've had their times. They've made their money, and the A's need to go in a different direction. That's where we are. And so I'm going to be pretty excited when you bring up a guy that everybody talked about how Shea Langoliers was going to be somebody you're going to love and can hit and can do everything, and then he comes up and does it. How can you not be ultra? Oh, that's yours.
Yeah.
How can you not be super excited as an A's fan? You're looking at that. Right now, and I said it, I don't think it's a good problem, and I'll say it again. Anybody who's trying to sell you that your 2 best offensive players are catchers, that's a good problem to have. They're lying to you. It's a horrible problem to have.
I believe David Forst said it to us when we had him on last time.
I'm not buying it.
All the catches in the system is filed under a good problem to have for now.
No, it's not. It's not. I lived it. It's called Benito Santiago and Sandy Alomar Jr. The DH is not an answer. You need to play these guys. These guys need to play. That is something that's real. They're at an age to where they need to play defensively every day. So, and that's something that Mark Kotze was asked in the pregame presser is about Langoliers taking ground balls. Are you going to do anything with them at another position? And as of right now, he said no. Well, that's something that's going to have to be done. As long as Big Murph is here and he is the starting catcher and swinging the way he is and playing at a Gold Glove level, he's going to get the majority of the starts. And Langoliers at 24 years old is going to need a spot.
And he asked, to answer your question, he asked about first base. He played 8 games at Baylor at first base.
And 2 in the outfield? Or?
Two at left field, 8 at first base. So he has some versatility, but all of it's back when he played at Baylor in the Big 12.
So we know at the college level he has worn a different glove. We're just going to have to see that going forward with the A's. And I would like to see, as you'll be able to see, is, like right now, looking out, as the A's are starting to take infield, you want to be able to see him take ground balls. You want to be able to see when they're working out, him working at a position with a different glove. That's the key for us being out on the field. When those types of things happen, we'll be able to look at it and show you, and you'll be able to watch it. That is the benefit of what A's Cast Live does that no other show in baseball has. So if Langoliers actually has a first baseman glove, we'll be able to show you. That was one thing we always loved showing you last year was Matt Chapman and his battles with Bob Melvin. And it was Melvin's fungo against Matt Chapman. And we were able to show you that here on A's Cast Live from the field.
Do you think he has that battle with Manny Machado now?
Yes.
Because that'd be a sight to see also.
I haven't asked, but yes.
Because, besides the Padres free-falling, although they've won 2 in a row, that'd be cool to see. But you're right about watching Chappie and Bob do the fungo. But we will be able to see, and I'll make sure I alert you whenever we see Langoliers with the glove at first or third, seeing if he has the versatility.
Are you?
Or if he's shagging balls out in left field.
Do you have new information? It's now going to be third base.
I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Hey, let's face it. He's athletic enough. You see him running yesterday?
Yeah.
He's got some serious wheels, and that was the thing that Fran Reard told us, that StatCast absolutely loves his speed.
It's pretty good. I looked at it on Baseball Savant.
And if he's got the arm, now it's about angles and how he goes, and he goes after fly balls and line drives in left field. You're not going to ask him to play center field. But who knows with this organization? No one ever thought the man who hit 2 home runs yesterday for the Mets against the Phillies, that bat flipping Mark Canha could play center field. We thought he was a DH, maybe a first baseman. No, Mark Canha ended up being a pretty good center fielder. So, Chad Pinder just walked by, as you saw. Chad Pinder's been put out in center field. So, with the A's, we're now acting like, I don't know if Langoliers can play anywhere else. Well, maybe that's something we're going to have to address with David Forst today. No one ever asked you when you picked Mark Canha in the Rule 5 draft whether he could play center field, and he ended up playing a boatload of games for you in center field.
Well, remember, he played most of 2019 played games, 2020. Last year he played some when Ramon was out with the suspension.
He was a godsend.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think for playoff teams. We're just not talking for in a year where your team's not any good. You're talking about teams that were going to the playoffs, that the fact that you could have Glenn Geffner here, voice of the Florida Marlins, is joining us as we speak. But, yeah, I mean, who would ever thought that Mark Canha would be playing center field for the A's in years that were playoff years? I mean, Mark Canha came over Rule 5. You thought, but for him to play center field like that, unbelievable. Glenn, how are you? Welcome
Chris,
to
how you
A's
doing?
Live.
It's good to be back in Oakland for the first time since 2017.
Yeah, we're
It's a
trying to
long time.
think. When's the last time we've seen the Marlins?
2017. We were here for 2, and the A's were in Miami for 2 that year. It's been a long time.
I think.
Lots happened since 2017.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot.
In baseball and in the world.
No, yeah, we were actually talking about that. About last time we were at the winter meetings was 2019 in San Diego. We're like, what happened after that? Well, the absolute world changed, let alone the baseball world. I think this is the great part about what we're going to see with the new schedule is that we want to see every team. You know, growing up in a National League town, I never got to see American League. You know, we're lucky and blessed here in the Bay Area that everybody comes to town, but there's only 5 areas like that. And the same thing in South Florida. You want to see everybody come to town.
I agree with you completely. We had Mike Trout come up with the Angels. At this point, 4 or 5 years ago, he was 6 years into his career playing in Miami for the first time ever. Fans in every market ought to see the great stars in this game. We're trying to grow the game, and you can't do that unless you're seeing everybody at least every other year. So I know there are those who say, well, it detracts from the World Series. At this point, I don't think it detracts from the World Series. I think it makes the sport better, and I think it gives you something to look forward to. It's going to be very different for sure. I think, to me, 19 games within your division are too many, and so it's nice for me to scale back on that a little bit, and we'll see the A's again next year and the year after that and the year after that, and that's great for baseball, in my opinion.
My answer to all the baseball purists whenever we get into it hurts the World Series, too much playoffs, too much this. My answer always is this. Well, it hasn't hurt the NFL or the NBA.
You're right.
It seemed to work. It seems to work for them. I think it can work for us.
And here's the thing. You use the term baseball purist. I used to think of myself as a baseball purist, but if you think about it, what does that mean? I'm somebody who loves baseball. I want what's best for baseball. If you're a baseball purist, are you saying we should go back to 16 teams and no playoffs, just the league champions in the World Series? You know, are we going back to that? What does baseball purist mean anymore? The game is better with the designated hitter in both leagues.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line. It's a better game. I know the purity of the game says one thing, but what's best for the game? To me, what's best for the game is what's most pure. And what those of us who care passionately about the game ought to be talking about it and hoping for. And in some cases, we're seeing that come to light.
I also like to bring up, there's this little tournament that happens in March called the NCAA tournament.
I've heard of that one.
They keep expanding. It seems to work.
It works. Look, I'm not looking for 25 teams in the playoffs, but you know what? Look around at the playoff races this year and the increased enthusiasm and more markets because you have that third wild card. We wouldn't have much of a history in Miami if it weren't for the wild card to begin with. The Marlins have won 2 World Series without ever winning a division championship. So I'm not going to frown on that. Again, you can have too many teams in the playoffs. I don't think everybody should be in, but I think we're there right now. I think it's good for baseball, and I think it's good for fans across the country.
All right, we got to settle something once and for all because you have one of the best pitchers in baseball, and I think it's Sandy Alcantara.
Not really.
What do you call it?
Sandy Alcantara.
Alcantara.
You kind of roll that second to last A a little bit. If you want to go full Miami Alcantara, you can do it like that. He's
because
kind
everybody
of Americanized
butchers
it.
It's all over
we
the
hear
place.
a lot of Alcantara, which it's not. Alcantara is what we use.
Alcantara.
Sandy Alcantara.
Okay.
And he's really good. And he had a bad day in LA yesterday, but that doesn't detract from the year he's having. He's been absolutely remarkable. and he's a throwback. He could pitch. I was having this conversation in Philadelphia with Charlie Manuel on our last road trip. He said he reminds us so much of Roy Halladay. But what Charlie said was he could pitch in the 60s. He could pitch in the 70s. He could pitch in any era because he wants the baseball. He wants it for 9 innings. He's not one of these guys who we see so often in this day and age who you put a man on in the 5th inning, he's looking over his shoulder to see if somebody's up in the bullpen. Sandy does not want to come out of games, and he's been a workhorse. He has been really good. Again, had a bad day yesterday, first one in a long, long time. He's human, but he's had a remarkable year, and if you voted today, he's the Cy Young Award winner. I don't think there's any question, but we still got 7 or 8 more starts for him.
Well, that's the thing that is so amazing, that in a sport where the front offices are controlling the game so much, this whole third time through a lineup, under 100 pitches, and we start, by the time you guys are done, I'll get done with the pregame show. We got MLB Network on. We're seeing the highlights, and I'm seeing 8, 9 innings. How is he allowed to do that in a sport that they're not allowing anyone to do that anymore?
Well, here's the thing. He was pitching in Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago. He was through 7 innings on 71 pitches. He's very efficient. And teams, it's interesting in watching how his season has gone. Teams take 2 approaches against him. In some cases, they're very aggressive against him, and he can use that against you if you want to do that. But if you want to wait and take pitches, try to drive the pitch count up, well, he's going to strike you out because he's around the strike zone all night. So the Dodgers kind of ambushed him successfully yesterday. They got him early in the count, and they had hit him very hard twice last year also. They might have something on Sandy. We got to figure that one out. But he's remarkable. He's efficient, and he works quickly. He can beat you with a lot of different ways. If he doesn't have a great slider, he can beat with the changeup on a given night. He can beat just with his fastball. He's been a lot of fun to watch.
How's our guy Jesus Luzardo doing?
He's been a lot of fun to watch also. He came over last year, and there was a little bit of an adjustment period for him. He didn't pitch great down the stretch last year when he came over. I think part of it is being back home, and all of a sudden, friends, family, got that whole degree of interest in
tickets,
things like that. But he went to the Mel Stottlemyre Jr. lab this offseason. Mel Stottlemyre Jr. is our pitching coach who's been tremendous. We've seen a lot of pitchers grow under Mel's tutelage. And Jesus, from day one of spring training this year, looked like a different guy. He was off to a great start. Then he had the forearm strain very early on. So he was on the injured list from early May until just a couple of weeks ago. But he's made some huge strides forward this year. The slider is terrific. He's using the changeup very effectively. He's throwing more strikes than he has in the past, doing a better job keeping the ball in the ballpark than he has in the past. He's really put himself in a spot in an organization where there's a lot of pitching coming. And there are a lot of guys you project to be in this rotation a year or two from now where you say, wait a minute, don't forget Luzardo. He's here now, and he's pitching like a guy who belongs in this rotation for a long time to come.
Well, you got the guy going tonight who you're talking about 6'5", about 220, fastball, slider, nasty change coming along.
You ever see a 95-mile-per-hour changeup? You're going to see one tonight. It's crazy. He's a freak, Edward Cabrera. Throws 97, 98 generally, and at times his changeup will be at 95. And I've asked the question, at that point, what's the difference between a two-seamer and a changeup when you're throwing at 95? But the motion on the pitch, it's a legitimate changeup. And it's something that's 92, 93. It's sinking, it breaks. And, he can throw 92, 93 also, but occasionally he'll hit 95 with a changeup. But it's got that action, late action, and when he's efficient, he's gotten in trouble. His last start, he threw too many pitches. The Padres really grinded him out a little bit. But when he's efficient, he can get deep into games with electric stuff, and he's a baby, and he's just getting his feet wet in the big leagues. So, the one thing this team has done for the most part this year is it's pitched pretty well. They've got a lot of pitching coming. We hope. We had some top prospects go down with Tommy John surgery of late. But, they just got to score some runs. Like the A's, they got to find a way to score some runs because it's hard to win games 2-1 night in and night out, particularly in the division where the Marlins play, where you're playing some very high-powered offenses most nights. So it's been tough.
Yeah, I saw that. Scored 4 or fewer runs in 22 consecutive games.
They had a streak of 3 or fewer that got up to, I think, 16 or 17 games, which even was more historic. But then they scored 4, so now you move the streak out a little bit. But this is a team that last year and for the last 4 years really has been at or near the bottom of Major League Baseball, most offensive categories. Last year, they pitched well, lost a ton of one-run games. So the thinking was if we add a couple of bats, hit a few more home runs, we can flip those one-run games. So they brought in Avi Garcia this winter. They brought in Jorge Soler this winter. And both of them have been huge disappointments before in both cases getting hurt, and neither one of them are here now. Jazz Chisholm, the second baseman, who's voted to start the All-Star game, has been out since late June with a back injury. Up until a couple of days ago, he was still the team's leading home run and RBI man. Jesus Aguilar finally passed him, but Garrett Cooper, who went to the All-Star game this year, is on the injured list now. So they've had some guys underperform. They've had some guys get hurt, but this recent stretch going back to July 6th, now over the last 42 games, they're averaging about 2.3 runs a game, not hitting home runs. Up until a few days ago, actually, Aaron Judge had out-homered the Marlins since July 6th. Wow. He's finally cooled off a little bit, and the Marlins have hit a few home runs, but I think since July 6th now, the Marlins have 19 and Judge has 17 or something like that. But the other thing is, because of injuries, because some guys have gotten demoted, this team's hit 109 home runs all year. 62 of them are not on the Major League roster at this point. They're either in AAA, they're on the injured list, or they're out of the organization. So they are not going to come in here these next 3 nights and light up the scoreboard. You're probably going to see some 2-1, 3-2 games, and a lot of people like those, but it's just hard to win like that consistently in this era in Major League Baseball. One way or another, the Marlins need to find some more offense to be competitive.
Well, that's one thing that I have a rule of thumb here for us. If you're going to be bad quickly.
Well, we've played some quick games lately. When you pitch well, you don't hit a lot, you got a better chance of playing 245. But, that's all right. Quick games.
Yeah, anything that's under 3.
Yeah, maybe with the pitch clock coming, we'll see more of that. You see a lot of it in the minor leagues these days. I'm all for pace of play, the tempo. I love pitchers who work quickly. We're talking about Sandy Alcantara, a guy who works very quickly. It just makes for better, cleaner, crisper, more entertaining baseball.
What can the expectations be for the Marlins? Let's start looking into next year when you have what's happening in New York, you have what's happening in Atlanta. Obviously, the Phillies are much better. They're battling day to day to get into the postseason. They're all going to spend a lot of money. Just where are the Marlins in the future looking at the other guys in your division?
And that's the thing. You don't improve in a vacuum. And a lot of people forget that. Well, go spend more money, bring in better players. Well, you know what? The Braves are trying to get better, too, and they're really good already. And the Mets obviously are really good already and trying to get better. The Nationals are going to be better before people think. I have a feeling with new ownership likely coming in very soon, they're going to make a splash. They've already brought a lot of prospects in some of the trades they've made last year and this year. I don't think the Nats are going to be down for long either. So the Marlins are in a very tough spot. They've put a lot of emphasis on scouting and player development under this new ownership group in the last 5 years. Shouldn't call them the new ownership group. It's been 5 years now.
Yeah.
We're starting to see some of these prospects get to the big leagues to this point. Many of them have underperformed in the minors. Many who've gotten here maybe haven't looked like they're entirely ready to go at this level yet. So they're going to need some of those guys to come through. The problem that they've had now is they decided to go out this past offseason and spend some money, and they did. They brought Jorge Soler in. They brought Avi Garcia in. They extended Sandy Alcantara. But when you spend the money on Soler and Garcia and they flame out, then you're in a really tough spot. And that, I think, sets this team back unless you can look at next year and say, okay, Soler and Garcia are going to bounce back and be better players than what they've been this year. To me, they were both kind of risky signings in that they've always been complementary players in really good lineups and in many cases in good hitters' ballparks. Now you bring them in here to be focal points in the lineup in a good pitcher's park. The expectation level is different, and neither one of them has come close to having the kind of year the Marlins would have hoped for. What they've done, though, is more in line with kind of what they've done in their career, but the expectation level for them a lot higher coming in here than it has been in the past. Soler's always been a streaky guy. Home runs, strikeouts, that's what he was. He was streaky, hit some home runs, struck out a lot, didn't hit for a high average, never has. Garcia's been a guy who every other year puts up pretty good numbers, not elite numbers, but pretty good numbers, but often as the number 6 or 7 hitter in a good lineup, in a pitcher's park, in a place like Milwaukee, for example, or the south side of Chicago. It's different in Miami. It's different in this lineup. So they need J.J. Bleday to become the kind of player they thought he would be when they drafted him 4th overall coming out of Vanderbilt back in 2019.
He struggled at the start, right?
Yeah. You know what, though? He's putting up competitive at-bats. He's looked pretty good at the plate. He's got, I think, he hit his 3rd home run yesterday. He's only been up for a few weeks. He had a hot stretch. He's cooled off, but he's putting up good at-bats. Some other guys aren't giving you competitive at-bats. It looks like Bleday's a guy who's got a plan, knows what he's doing, but they need him to come through. They need some of these other young guys to really step up because they're never going to be able to spend with the Mets and the Braves and the Phillies and the Nationals.
Let's end on this. You know, now that we have the captain going on right now and everybody's been enthralled about Derek Jeter and his career in New York, when you look back at Derek Jeter his career as a part of the ownership group and running the Marlins, how do people see it?
Well, when he came in, the point I made was this guy's never lost at anything in his life. You think he's going to lose at this? It didn't go great for 4 years. And eventually he and the owner made the decision that it's time for Derek to move on to whatever his next project is. He had high hopes. I'm not sure he knew exactly what he was walking into, kind of the depth of the issues of the perception of the franchise and the community and the business community, where this team has been on the field, off the field. There was a lot of work to be done, and they undoubtedly made some steps in the right direction, but there still is a long way to go. And this team very much needs, on the business side, on the baseball side, leadership that can be creative and bold and do some things differently, because this is not a typical market on or off the field. You know, Oakland is very much in the same realm. And you look what the A's have done over the years under Billy Beane, going all the way back, and they understand the cycles, and they're really good for 3 or 4 years. Take a step back. But the A's have shown they can get back to that level after that step back. The Marlins need to show they can do that, and it's going to take some creativity and some boldness. And, you know, I look at Tampa Bay, I look at Oakland, I look at what the Dodgers, even though they got a big payroll, the way the Dodgers have gone about things there, what the Braves have done over the years, the kind of minds they bring in, the culture that's created in the front office and on the field throughout the organization, the expectation level that you put on players on and off the field, how you conduct yourself, how you play the game night in, night out, the accountability level that you see in certain places. That's all stuff that needs to be put in place in Miami. And we just haven't seen it yet, quite honestly.
Biggest difference between the A's and the Marlins, the biggest difference, we don't have the Clevelander in left field. That is the biggest difference. Hey, thank you so much for taking
Chris,
the time.
it's fun talking with you.
We truly appreciate it. Enjoy these next 3 days.
Count on it. Thank you.
JP Sears up next right here on A's Cast Live.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than the Last Dive Bar. Hi, everyone. Ken Korak here, and my friends at Last Dive Bar are helping us celebrate our longtime home. Last Dive Bar has the most unique merchandise for all Oakland baseball fans. T-shirts, sweatshirts, the Ray Fosse line, and my personal favorite, the lights have taken full effect. Visit their website at lastdivebar.com or follow them on social media at Last Dive Bar. All proceeds are invested back into the A's Community Fund and their affiliated charities. Go to lastdivebar.com. That's lastdivebar.com.
Hey A's fans, we've got a great deal for you. Get 4 tickets and parking for all Friday night games starting at just $39. Pick from great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more.
Outside corner, ring him up. And Eaton can't believe it.
Grab the crew and head to the Coliseum with friends and family any Friday night this season. 4 tickets and parking starting at just $39 for the whole group. Tickets are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com.
Innovation is at the heart of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students map genes from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
Bring the whole family out to the ballpark for Nickelodeon Night on August 27th, presented by Chevron. With fun for fans of all ages and drone show. Tickets start at just $15. Grab your seats today at athletics.com.
Streaming from the East Bay, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
That's right. It is A's Cast Live, and one of the guys that I can tell you I've been pumping up big time in the post-game show, because just like the way he goes after is this man right here, JP Sears. He joins us for the first time. It's great to meet you. Welcome to Oakland. This is where the fans get all their A's information.
Okay. Nice.
And so far, so good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been exciting since I've been here. Already feel really comfortable. The guys have been great. Costa's been great to me, and getting to know everybody. And yeah, it's a warm welcome for sure.
You know, I think a great word for you is comfortable, because you know, so many guys early in their careers, they go out there just to survive, right? You go out there to win. Yeah. You're competing to win. And I think there is something about being comfortable. But tell us what that is about you when you go out there. You do have that confidence.
Yeah, I think that if you don't go out there with confidence and you're facing some of the best hitters in the world, then you're behind the 8 ball already. So yeah, I definitely go out there with confidence and just try and fill up the zone and try and compete and put myself in the best chance to win the game for the team.
Of course, the first time we got to see you was you pitching against the Oakland Athletics. And when the trade happened, I immediately thought, well, he's been pitching at Yankee Stadium, and you're pitching for the Yankees at a time when the Yankees were rolling. They're talking about all-time record potentially, could happen over 116 wins. A lot has changed since then. But talk about what it was like pitching in New York at that time when all the spotlight was on the Yankees and potentially one of the greatest Yankee teams of all time.
Yeah, I felt really blessed to make the team out of camp with the extended rosters and really get a lot of experience under my belt in a great stadium like that and around some really lively fans and every game's a big game there. So it was a great place to play and I feel blessed to have been a Yankee, but I'm excited now about my future here and my mind's here and my focus is here and it's been great here so far.
Because you come here, it's the land of opportunity. I'm assuming when you got traded, you knew right away, I'm going to have a chance to pitch.
Yeah, I think that that part of it, is always in your head. You want to be in the big leagues, you want to pitch in the big leagues. I want to start games in the big leagues. So, yeah, that was definitely on my mind. But I just try and show up every day and do my job, and that's just to compete for the organization wherever they need me, and provide value and just do my best when I get out there.
Is there someone that you look at who you say their game, you pattern your game? Left-hander, fastball, breaking ball change. Is there somebody that you looked at?
Yeah, I would say that I enjoy watching a lot of fellow big league players, especially the superstars out there. There's a lot of good lefty starters nowadays, and a lot of guys that bring a lot to the table. I feel like Carlos Rodon is somebody that I like to watch pitch a lot. He's got great stuff. He runs it up, a little more than I do, velo wise. But I just like how he competes out there and really uses his fastball, in all counts and tries to put his team in a good position to win too. So there's plenty of guys that I've watched coming up, through the minors, whether it's the Yankees or West Coast teams. But just trying to go out there and have fun.
Yeah, because I think that in a world of baseball now where everything is about velocity and everything is about, does he throw 100? Is it 98? That's never going to be your game.
Yeah. Velo, we chase velo a lot. That's everybody wants to throw hard. That's part of baseball. I kind of take an emphasis on that more in the off season. I still try and get better, whether it's, my average velo or topping out in the game. So I think that, velo's definitely taken over the game and it's a big part of it. And you're going to see a lot more in the future.
How much do you like pitching in a place like this that's so big with wind and at night the ball doesn't fly?
Yeah. It's, great weather every day. Beautiful skies, a lot of foul territory, definitely friendly for a pitcher and, great vibes at the ballpark as well. So, just overall great baseball feeling here.
Because that's the one thing that, going back to the World Series teams of the 70s, 80s, everything has always been built off pitching and defense. In a game where everybody talks about offense and how many home runs, here it's always been about pitching and defense. And one thing I think, as you just said, you had to notice right away is like, wow, there's a lot of foul territory here. This really helps out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that was evident in my first start here a little over a week ago. I got like 3 or 4 in a row. And, that's a great feeling knowing that, at some places, that's no doubt a foul ball and you got to, stay in the count and still get the guy out. So getting some of those little bit easier outs in foul territory definitely makes, you lengthen the game as a starter and, put yourself in a good position.
I always like to ask, there's so much data, so much technology at your disposal. Some guys love it, some guys not at all, some guys in between. Where are you with all of that to prepare yourself to pitch?
Yeah, I think that is whether or not you're an analytical person at all is without a doubt a part of the game now. You see it watching it on TV, exit velos, miles per hour velo, all those things. I definitely use it to my disposal, getting ready for starts, whether or not it's keeping up with my maintenance of making sure that my body and my arm and all that are, in consistent positions all the time when I'm getting ready for games or, trying to find holes in hitters, swings or anything like that. So there's a lot of data out there nowadays. And, I try and use most of it as I can.
And you came over with Waldachuk, and he pitched over here in the East Bay at St. Mary's.
Yeah.
What should we expect from him when he comes up?
Yeah, I'm excited to hopefully have him soon. He's a great competitor. I think you'll see a lot of fire out of him. He attacks hitters. He pitches with his fastball. Everything he throws it at you. He's aggressive. He's a fun guy to watch. I enjoy watching him when I've gotten to watch him, some this year in Scranton, and then in Vegas as well. So excited to have him whenever the time comes.
Just how weird was it pitching in Vegas where all of a sudden you're in the desert, and then if you're not in the desert, you're somewhere in elevation, dry air, ball flies forever. What was that like?
Yeah, I've never pitched really west of, I guess I spent a summer in Everett, Washington, so a little bit like that. But yeah, even drier. Definitely some home runs that you look around, you're saying, did that ball really get out? The ball feels a little different. There's some adjustments, but it's still baseball. You still got to go out there and compete and, try and win.
Yeah, we were talking off the air. He's from South Carolina. I was down there right at the start of baseball season. I was down there when I went to the Masters. South Carolina is just beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a beautiful part of the country. If anybody from out the West Coast can go out, beaches are phenomenal.
Yes. Great beaches.
Very impressive.
Yes.
Very impressive. But now, you go to the Citadel. It's a military college.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Yeah, I learned a lot at the Citadel. It's definitely a one-of-a-kind place. I feel blessed to have gone there. Go through my college experience there. I met a lot of great friends, great coaches, great teammates. It's a one-of-a-kind place. I feel like I learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about organization, and how to be prepared every day to be, a leader in whatever aspect of life you choose. And so it's definitely got me, prepared for pro ball because being in the big leagues or in the minor leagues, it's a really rigorous schedule. So, a lot of times I find myself looking back on those days where things could have been, were a little bit worse, when you're
folks. It's
confined.
A military school. If you don't know about the Citadel, it's one of the 6 military schools. Yes. So he wasn't walking around late to class in flip flops every day.
No. We were on our P's and Q's there, and it's a one of a kind place. A lot of great people there, and learned a lot of good things and got a good education as well.
Well, I think that, the number one thing that can help you here, help you at every level, help you in life is truly the structure you get when you go to one of those places.
Yeah, and I was blessed with good parents growing up. So, I had a good idea of structure, but, just the consistency of doing it on your own really, really changes things for you. And you learn to how, things that I'm good at, bad at, that I need to work on. And it definitely got me ready for life. So I feel blessed to have been there.
What are your expectations of yourself the rest of the way here? Because this is a big stretch for you.
Yeah, I think that a lot of us get ahead of ourselves too much. I've always, taken the idea of I go week to week. I don't really know what our schedule looks like past the next week from now. I'm getting ready for my start whenever my next start is, whatever team I'll face. So kind of look more so in the future week by week so I don't get too ahead of myself. But just trying to go out there and compete and stay healthy and provide depth for the team and just do my best to win every time we go out there.
Yeah, and then your old team, the Yankees, are going to come to town. Everybody's got a Yankee story, right? I mean, because it's just different. It's New York City. It's the biggest stage. There's something where you go, oh, wow, I'm a Yankee. What was that moment? What was your Yankee moment that you had as a young player?
Man, as a young player, there was a lot of firsts there. There were some guys there that are really good people and that, did a good job taking me under their wing and showing me the ropes. But, they have a wall there that I think that if you played in a game with them, then you get to sign. So, I felt really blessed. There was to sign that wall, and there's a lot of really legendary names around it and a lot of legendary people that have played there. So, it's a special place, and I'll definitely remember it, and I'm looking forward to facing them.
Well, we appreciate the time. I'm telling you, between you and Langoliers, how about him?
Yeah, he's phenomenal. He's almost, he's already got it. He's here, and he's ready to go.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you had no idea, you're a baseball fan, right? You've never seen an A's game. You got no idea Langoliers that was traded.
Yeah.
He's been sitting in AAA, and you sat up in the stands and you watched Langoliers. Would you think he's a rookie?
I would, without a doubt, not think he's a rookie. I would have to think that he's 4 or 5 years in, that he's got a lot of at-bats under his belt. He's super poised, super comfortable. Works really hard in his cage work, and he's just really a prepared human, and I've been blessed to be on the field with him, and I'm looking forward to hopefully many more with him.
Yeah, he is tremendous. And also just, I think about also for you being traded you already traded before, right? You were a Mariner, drafted by the Mariners. So that's not a big deal, right?
Yeah,
well, I know
think
it's a big deal, but
it's
not
different.
as much the
Different parts of your career, or trades kind of mean a little bit more. I was still young with Seattle. I was blessed. That they took me in the 11th round and took a chance on me, and gave me a lot of opportunity there to try and shine. And then the trades are unique, and it's a crazy feeling. This one was definitely an exciting one, and I'm excited about the future here.
Well, you look great in green and gold.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And
it's a good adjustment.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's
I've always worn blue my whole life. High school, college, Citadel. And then with the Yankees, I never had anything but blue on, so it's a little change for me.
Well, fans are excited because you think you pitch well going to the offseason. Next thing you know, you're in spring training and you're looking at a potential spot right there to start 2023 season in a big league rotation. So we're all looking forward to the development and watching you grow here in Oakland.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Great meeting you.
All right, thank you.
Good luck. We got more coming up next right here on A's Cast Live.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than the Last Dive Bar. Hi, everyone. Ken Korak here, and my friends at Last Dive Bar are helping us celebrate our longtime home. Last Dive Bar has the most unique merchandise for all Oakland baseball fans. T-shirts, sweatshirts, the Ray Fosse line, and my personal favorite, the lights have taken full effect. Visit their website at lastdivebar.com or follow them on social media at Last Dive Bar. All proceeds are invested back into the A's Community Fund and their affiliated charities. Go to lastdivebar.com. That's lastdivebar.com.
Humanity has accomplished a whole lot so far. We created penicillin, the automobile, and the internet, not to mention drones, duct tape, and the hot dog. It's all thanks to the power of human connections. And Ring Central's here to make that even easier, more seamlessly and securely, on a platform built to grow your business. Say hello to a whole new way to say hello. Visit ringcentral.com and say hello to possibilities. Ring Central. Message, video, phone, together.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is a national brand with family-owned prices and service. You can shop at one of their Barrier locations, and all stores are sanitized and safe, or you can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Bring the whole family out to the ballpark for Nickelodeon Night on August 27th, presented by Chevron, with fun for fans of all ages.
Pitch around to bunt, he pushes it, and Seth Brown makes a great leaping catch.
Come see your A's take on the New York Yankees, meet some of your favorite Nickelodeon characters, then head down to the field to see the drones take flight for a dazzling post-game light show. Tickets start at just $15. You won't want to miss this. Find your seats at athletics.com today.
Coming in at 5'3", it's number one mom. She switched to Xfinity and got the all-new 3-for-1 bundle. Unlimited internet, streaming, and Xfinity Mobile. All for what you could pay wireless companies for just one 5G unlimited line. Boom shakalaka. Go to Xfinity.com/3-for-1, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
This is Chris Townsend for the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. Great news! Our indoor dining is back, along with our beautiful patio dining. Come taste our world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 83 years. The Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek has one of the most dynamic menus, plus a full bar. Pot pies, gourmet burgers, sandwiches, salads, flatbreads, and more. Don't forget, we still do takeout and delivery. For all the information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Innovation that's at the heart of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students map genes from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect to Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
Hey, A's fans, you know that running your own business is a slugfest every day. That's why businesses have been counting on Mechanics Bank since 1905. From operating lines of credit to equipment and real estate loans, they can help build your lineup to meet today's challenges and prepare for tomorrow's opportunities. Stop by your local branch or visit mechanicsbank.com today. Mechanics Bank, the official East Bay bank of the Oakland A's. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. All loans subject to program eligibility and credit approval.
A's fans, there is no better way to stay in touch with the A's and even our players than following us on social media. Just head over to athletics.com/social. That's athletics.com/social for a full list of our social coverage, from player accounts to Twitter handles and more. Now is the time to stay in touch. Head over to athletics.com/social. That's athletics.com/social today.
Some things just go together. Peanut butter and jelly, cookies and milk, Oakland and Kaiser Permanente. If that last one caught you off guard, it shouldn't, because Kaiser Permanente has been helping keep Oakland healthy since our very beginning. And as the official healthcare partner of the Oakland A's, that won't be changing anytime soon. Whatever you may need, you can trust Kaiser Permanente to help keep you feeling your best. Kaiser Permanente. Thrive. Visit kp.org today.
Hey, A's fans, we've got a great deal for you. Get 4 tickets and parking for all Friday night games starting at just $39. Pick from great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more.
Outside corner, ring him up. And Eaton can't believe it.
Grab the crew and head to the Coliseum with friends and family any Friday night this season. 4 tickets and parking starting at just $39 for the whole group. Tickets are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
All right, the general manager of the Oakland Athletics, David Forst, is going to join us coming up here at 5 o'clock. I'm not going to ask him this question about Yadier Molina because he can't answer it. He can't talk about some other player, some other organization, but I got to tell you, it is a divided, if you haven't heard, Yadier Molina owns a basketball team. Where is it, Puerto Rico?
Yeah, Puerto Rico, he owns the team.
He owns a basketball team that was playing for a championship. So he plays Friday and then leaves the team for 2 days to go watch his basketball team play in the championship. He goes on the restricted list, which means he doesn't get paid. And they're able to call somebody up to take his spot. Odds are, at his age, probably not playing in both games anyway. And the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, a columnist, I sent it to you. I can't remember the guy's name.
I think it was Ben Fredrickson, or
took major issue with this. And there's been a debate around the sport of, is this okay or not? And, you know, it's funny. The baseball media, God bless it, loves to be romantic, right? They love to be, oh, it's baseball. Oh, it's it's a Hall of Fame player. What he's given to the organization. If he wants to take 2 days to do something that's not family related, you know, it's one thing if you're at an age where you had kids young maybe, and, you know, your daughters get married, your sons get married, something special's going on in your family. They have to do it at this time. A lot of times people do stuff in the off season. But listen, daughters get married, 20 years old. I got to be gone for 2 days. Think people would think, okay, let me think about it. But when it's a basketball team that you own in Puerto Rico, people are taking exception to it, while there's others that say he's earned a right to do whatever he wants. And learning about this today, I thought about, like, where would I stand if this was an A's player? Because you're signed up as a St. Louis Cardinal right now to win a World Series title. That's what it's about. And you're just not a guy. You're the leader of the team. So there's one thing about, he's been here for years. He's earned the right. I don't know what earn the right means to leave inside a season for something like that. I don't necessarily get where people say you've earned the right just to leave whenever the hell you want. No, you're going to have that right once you've retired. But once again, that goes to the fandom part about the baseball media, that we Hall of Fame players, especially at the end. I mean, look at what we've done with Albert Pujols. We just gush over players at the end of their career and then for the rest of their lives as Hall of Famers. There's something about I don't want this to sound bad. I know it is. There's a real fanboy in all of these grown men who are writers, broadcasters, even the play-by-play guys, TV, radio. There's a fanboy, right? You grow up and you idolize these players, and then you're in this game, and it's, he's a Hall of Famer, and you're a fanboy. It's what you are, basically. No offense, but it's what. He's earned the right. Get your ass in the dugout. You're the leader of the team.
They honored him, too. I don't know if you saw that. They honored him at Pujols at Chase Field. They had I think Bob Nigo, the picture, they were honoring him, but he wasn't even there.
I'm so over this. What other sport do you get to be like, peace out, I'm out for the weekend, I'm going to Puerto Rico to party with my basketball team?
So
what other sport does that?
So Yachty spoke with reporters today. Katie Wu of The Athletic, friend of the program.
I'm asking you a question.
No other sport.
What other sports? Right, I'm doing the peace sign. Peace out. I'm going to get hammered with my basketball team because they're in the championship, and to actually have the fanboy media go, he's earned the right. He's everything he's given. He's earned the right to bail on the team when he's the leader. If you were Barry Bonds and you're not leader of the team and everybody thinks you're a jerk, I don't know. I still wouldn't think it, but that you're the leader of the team and you're going for the World Series.
Yeah. So Yachty spoke with the media today, and he said that talk about his decision to leave the team for the team he owns in Puerto Rico. Said leaving the Cardinals was tough, but it was important for him from a business standpoint and for the city. That's from Katie Wu of The Athletic. The city in Puerto Rico. I don't know. It's a bizarre situation.
I will not ask David Forst about that. I can guarantee you that. Because he can't talk about other teams and other players. That is one of the good things for David Forst when he comes on this show, knowing that he can't be asked about other team and other players. It's the GM show with your GM, David Forst. I hope he's excited as we are about some of these young players who have come up. How are you, by the way?
I'm well, thank you. You're not going to ask me about the Marlins players. I don't know them very well anyways.
No, I was going to ask you about somebody who left their team to watch their basketball team play. And
I read that story. That was interesting.
It really is, because some people are like, what's the problem? And there's other people like me going, what do you mean, what's the problem? You can't do that, but I will not ask you that.
I have no opinion.
So are you as giddy about Sears and Langoliers? It almost sounds like a company. Sears and Langoliers as we are?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one game for Shea yesterday. It's it's a couple starts now for JP. But yeah, I mean, those are the things you have to get excited about because that's what we're doing here.
If you didn't know, like you just showed up, saw the games in Texas, and showed up here and saw Shea play,
yeah,
you would not say, "Oh yeah, that guy's a rookie."
No, you definitely would not. But you wouldn't say that if you saw him play in Vegas either. Like you wouldn't say like this guy is young or inexperienced or whatever. Like I went and saw him play 2 games in Vegas, and it was obvious. Just seeing that. I mean, I read the game reports every day. I talk to Fran. Like, I know what he's doing every day, but all you have to do is go there and see him play, and you see the way he goes about it. I mean, look, he's young. He's going to have valleys and peaks, and he's going to swing and miss and all these things, but he clearly knows what he's doing.
I don't think he's going to have valleys. I've already
the one.
I've already said what's his coat size because we got to get ready for the A's Hall of Fame.
Okay. I hope you're right, but most of the evidence says young players are going to have valleys, and it happens. But yeah, it's really encouraging. 5 of his 6 first hits or extra bases and threw out his first runner, made a couple of good throws where he could have had guys. So it's been fun to watch.
So when you were doing that trade and players are being presented to you for Matt Olson, how big a part of the deal was Shea, and did you know he was this good?
Ooh, that's a hard one. It's hard to say, what percentage or how important. I mean, we liked all 4 of the players we got in that trade. Shea was certainly someone who was in the conversation from the very beginning. I mean, you look at where he was on the Braves prospect list. You look at our history with him in the draft, and I actually seen him play at Baylor. My one trip ever to Baylor was to see Shea Langeliers play. So you put all these things together, and he was absolutely an important part of that trade. And he's been everything we've expected.
And if you look at him, no disrespect, you're not thinking speed. This guy can run. He can run, like legitly run.
Yeah, it's not the part of his game we're counting on, but I'll take it.
It's impressive. So that's where I get to the 2 catchers, because I grew up in the world of having Benito Santiago and Sandy Alomar Jr. at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a problem. Now you have a DH, but if you go in, and I know this is cart before the horse, I get it, but that's talk radio. If you go into spring training and like your 2 best offensive guys are these 2 guys and they're young, you want them to play defense too, just not DH. How do you start thinking about that?
Well, you said it. We have the DH, which is how we solve it now, how we get Shea here now. We're way out from having that conversation or that question. So, I said last week when we called Shea up, I said Sean is a starting catcher, and that you've seen that hasn't changed. Shea's caught the two day games. He's done a nice job with the pitchers in both starts, and he's gotten his at bats on the other days with the DH. So that's all we have to think about now. I don't have to worry about spring training right now.
We just had JP Sears on, and already love him, because my whole thing, and I say this all the time in the postgame show, with young pitchers and kind of with all pitchers, you have two types of guys that go out there to survive and guys that go out to win.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a guy that goes out there to win. He's pitched on the big stage in New York. He's here. Then I talked to him about going to school at the Citadel, which is a military college.
Yeah.
It's not like me, flip-flop San Jose State walking in late. This is a military college. I mean, there's something about this kid. I like it.
Yeah. I think you're right. And it's, it's all about first impressions right now. And we're just getting to know him. Our staff is. And I had that first phone call with him after the trade. And a lot of times, that call is no big deal. I introduce myself, welcome you to the A's. Here's where you're going, yada, yada. Sometimes, though, you get interesting things out of that call. And when I talked to JP, I sort of started the conversation saying, hey, I know you've bounced back and forth. I know the Yankees have done this with you, this with you. I said, we see you as a starting pitcher. And he immediately said, that's how I see myself. I'm a starter. And full confidence. He doesn't know me. This is our first conversation. He says, I'm a starting pitcher. I said, hey, we're going to send you to Vegas, get you stretched out, get you on a plan so you can get to Oakland. He's like, great, I'm ready to go. When do I fly? So sometimes in that first conversation, you get a sense for a guy. That was one of those.
Yeah. Do you get the sense you could see him in the rotation for years?
Yeah. Again, peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
He's got a handful of starts under his belt now, and he's going to have some rough runs. Everyone does. But what we've seen in terms of executing a game plan, going out and pitching with some presence, he's done that.
Yeah, it's tough not to get super excited, but this is kind of like what we've waited for, right? And I think, you guys, fans, we've all kind of waited to see, something from these trades, and you see it and you see the future.
Yeah. Little glimpses. We need a lot more. We need a lot more players. We need a lot more performances, and there are guys who continue to move up. I think I told you I went and saw Lansing and Midland the last couple of weeks, which was fun to go out and see. But yes, anytime you see it on this field behind us, that's when it's super exciting.
Well, the thing that where you guys, there's belief is that we know that whenever you do whatever you call it, reboot or whatever you come back really quick. We're talking to the voice of the Marlins. That's not all. It's a long reboot year after year after year. So there is that street cred. Wouldn't you say that you guys have that? Hey, listen, trust us. We've done this before.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And it's nice, hopefully there are people out there who believe in what we're doing and our ability to, like you said, kind of turn it around quicker than most. Again, it's not easy. Like, when is that? we'll see. I mean, the players will tell us when they're ready and when they're ready to perform here.
Christian Pache, we haven't talked about him in a lot, and we look at box scores and everything, and it's so tough to trust what's going on in Vegas, right?
Yes.
Pitching or hitter, right? You can't believe anything.
It's true.
How's he doing? What do you think we'll see him back?
We talk about him a lot, actually. So, I know, we constantly watch the video of his ABs because you can't just trust the box score in Vegas. A homer there may just be a fly out here or frankly anywhere else. So we talk about Christian a lot. We watch the videos, between whether it's front office or with Mark. Mark is keeping track of a lot of these guys in Vegas. He does a really good job looking at the system every day, reading the game reports. So I'd like to see him back here at some point. I don't have an answer as to sort of when that is. He's swinging about well against lefties, which is interesting. And he's obviously playing, the heck out of center field like we know he can do. So we do talk about him, and hopefully there's a time to get him back.
How important is that conversation with, let's just say, Fran Reardon and the coaching staff down there to say, okay, we're sending this guy back down, or we're sending you like JP Sears from the trade.
Yep.
And this is what this is the game plan we want to see. They implement it, the communication, the highs, the lows. Just talk us through that conversation and how you want to implement that game plan to get a guy back up here so he can be successful.
Yeah, that communication is something we've talked about and worked on a lot, I think, the last couple of years. And whether it's from the major league staff to the AAA staff or from the front office, in the instance, like you said, of the trades, when we trade for a Sears and a Waldichuk and Medina, like we'll write up full reports, the front office, whether, Pike and Ben and Sam, all these people working in the front office, we write them up, send it out. And this is why we traded for them. This is how we evaluate them. This is what we're hoping you get out of them. So there's those reports. Then when you send a player down, from everyone from the manager and the pitching coach or hitting coach to the trainer to the strength coach, there's always communication back and forth. Say, hey, here's what this player needs to do, or here's what he was doing well or not well here. So that communication is really important. It's really something that we've looked to implement from the top down the last couple of years.
And how important is it that the player has the buy-in?
I think it's important. Yeah, anytime a player gets sent down, they're looking for answers. They're looking to know why. They're looking to know what they can do. So we try and communicate here. Though when you send a player out here, a lot of times they don't hear what you're saying, which is totally normal. They're surprised or upset at that news. They don't always hear what you're saying. So then you have to pass that along and make sure that Fran or Steve Connolly or Brian McGarn, who's ever there in Vegas, is relaying the same message so they hear it again when they get there.
It's kind of like when we were in school, right? And someone would say something. I'm not listening to that.
Yeah, except you didn't get sent down a grade every time you got called into the principal's office. It's a little different.
And the thing about Pache, why we want him to be so successful, is because he's got gifts. He's got God-given gifts. He's got athleticism you can't teach.
Yeah, I mean, that one was clear. We knew that just offensively he was really struggling, really needed a reset. And there are things he has done better down there. But as you said, the performance in Vegas has to be sort of parsed so that you're not just sort of taking everything down there for, at face value, because it's a different place.
When do you think we'll see Waldichuk?
I hope this year. I hope we get a chance to see Ken pitch here this year. I know he's got another start coming up in the next few days. Obviously, come September, we get to add a pitcher to the staff. We've talked a lot internally between Mark and Emo about how we handle the rotation with an extra pitcher, whether that's, there's a 6-man rotation, there's tandems, you can do some different things, move some guys into the bullpen for long man roles. So we're going to figure that out in the next week. And I'd like to see Ken sometime this year.
I wish we had rules where you could okay, we're going to pitch you for 2 games. Then we put you on this list where we know what you can do. We need to see what this guy can do. And unfortunately, that's not how the game works.
No, it's, it's only fair to the players. There's a roster for a reason.
Yeah.
So they're not just pawns. We move around. These guys are athletes with careers, and we have to respect that and know what they can do. Look, we're still trying to win games. I really enjoyed taking 2 out of 3 from the Mariners. I don't know about you.
It makes post-game a lot easier.
I'll bet. It makes my post-game with the manager a lot easier too. So we'll call it even on that. So, hey, we're still trying to win games and see players at the same time.
It's interesting that you say that, because there's this article that came out in Tampa about Joe Madden, and there's something about the A's that I don't think people should know. something that may not be going with a lot of front offices and their managers that you guys have had. I mean, you guys have always talked about continuity. You've talked about loyalty. For God's sakes, we just put Keith Lippman into the Ace Hall of Fame. He's been here for 52 years. You're on year what?
23.
You think about how long Billy's been here. I mean, Billy O to Kubota, Pam Pitts.
Yeah.
I mean, your staff. So it kind of doesn't apply to you guys because you guys have had the staff. How long Mark's been in the organization, how long your coaches, how everybody in the minor league system. You guys are so big on that. But if there wasn't that great relationship, just being generic here, between front office, manager, staff, how tough would that be?
It's something we had to consider this offseason because we did talk to some people from outside the organization about the manager job and really strongly considered it. Obviously, we landed on Mark based on his qualifications and partly his history and relationship with us, things we felt like we knew. But it was something we considered and realized you got to put a lot of work into those relationships because I'm in that office every day, before the game, after the game. If the team's on the road and I'm not there, I'm on his phone before the game and after the game. So you can't just have conversations and be emotional about stuff without having some sort of relationship built. And I think it's really helped me and Mark, and I think a lot of our staff this year, get through a season like this is having the trust and sort of the prior engagement or relationship, because these are tough seasons, tough days to get through. And we've had some uncomfortable and heated conversations, but at the end of it, you come back to the relationship.
Yeah, and I think I should have thrown in Melvin. You just had the longest tenured manager, so it's like you understand the continuity versus bouncing guys around, always changing coaches, always change. Sometimes can be great, but change a lot of times can be really rough.
Well, change for the sake of change, I've never been a big fan of. But when you have to make a change, then you learn and you grow from it. And look, we brought Bob in here once upon a time without really any prior relationship. I had never met Bob the day before he landed in Chicago to be our interim manager that year. So we built that relationship, and it took years and years. And eventually we got to the point where, I had something similar that I have with a lot of people in the organization. But when you do it, you got to put the time in.
Now, when you start evaluating guys and, whether it's the guys you've drafted, guys you've traded, knowing that these guys truly are the future, how do you, I want to promote everybody now and get them up here and let's see. How do you not be like that?
Patience. Yeah, I rely on the player development people to tell us what a guy's ready for and what he's not, because we can see the performance, we can see the numbers and feel like a guy is ready. And we did that a little bit with Tyler Soderstrom this season, and he started swinging the bat really well, and I check in with Ed, hey, is Tyler ready emotionally, mentally to handle Double-A? And we waited until everybody agreed that he was, and he's gotten off to a pretty good start there. But he was swinging the bat really well in Lansing for a while before we made that promotion. So it's a matter of checking in with everybody and the guys who really know these players, their managers, the roving instructors. Jim Eppert, our hitting coordinator's here this week, and you pick his brain, see who he was in Lansing, then he was in Dominican and Stockton, so he's kind of touched bases with all these players. And while he's here, I need to check in with him and see what he can tell me about the guys.
What does a player have to do to get from Double-A to the big leagues now?
I mean, we do say once you're on the radar at Double-A and performing, it's just a matter of time before you're ready here. That said, Triple-A is a big step. I mean, it is. There's a big guy. You're facing older guys there and guys who've performed in the big leagues. So there's still that step there. But if you perform in Double-A, it's just a matter of consistency in my mind. You've got the talent. It's a matter of, can you do it day in, day out and be consistent? So you got to show us that. And you got to be able to deal with failure, because back to the start of our conversations, those valleys, you could be an all-star in Double-A and you're going to come up here and you may start 0 for 15. And can you handle that? And can you show us enough to get through it for us to keep you here?
Is that a really tough one for you to promote someone from Double-A to ride over Triple-A to the big leagues?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time.
That's what I was trying to think.
Danny Putnam, I think, did it. He came straight from Midland to Baltimore, but that was a long time ago. So we don't often do that. In fact, almost never. You gotta stop in Triple-A and face some of those veteran guys who, may not be blowing the way you guys in Double-A are, but they'll carve you up.
But probably easier for a pitcher to do it than a hitter.
Yeah. I would say so, just because the stuff will play.
Yeah. I need some help on this, and we'll end on this. I need some help. So, like I'm going to give you a couple examples.
Yeah.
Like in football, when it's 3rd and 10 and the receiver runs like a 7-yard pattern, catches it, tackle it, well, now the punt team comes out and you go, well, you had to get 10 yards. Why don't you run 10 yards? You love basketball. All right, coming down the court, 3-on-1, you got numbers. Easy dish, dunk, layup, you got 2 points. It said the guy with the ball pulls up and shoots a 3. You go, what are you doing? Right?
Okay. So far, I'm following most of what you've laid out.
Sometimes when a pitcher only goes 5 innings, I feel that same way. I'm like, why? Why? I know I'm old school. I know.
Yeah.
It's the era I grew in. When I started, I had to go more than 5. Guys that you played with that started winning more than 5. Tell me how to get over it. Tell me how.
The one thing I will tell you is just because someone has performed well up till a certain point doesn't mean he's going to continue performing well. That's not an indicator. Past performance is more of an indicator. So, look, Mark and Emo are making the decisions down there. Obviously, we discuss it with them, but to this point, I think they've done an outstanding job with this staff.
So at 5, I just go, come on, man, one more.
Telling the kids to get off your lawn at the same time as you're.
I got my shotgun. I'm like, get up. Do you ever think that? One more? No, I know. I just have to get over it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's.
But you don't like when that guy pulls up for a 3 and you got numbers.
In today's game, if you're shooting 40% from 3, hey, I'll take my chances. Look, both games have changed. These starting pitchers are not doing what we asked guys 20 years ago to do. It's a different game. Bullpens used differently. We have more relievers. Like, it's a different game. You have to accept that and adjust. Guys, 20 years ago weren't shooting 3s as much as they are now. If that guy on the break wants to take a 3 and makes it 4 out of 10 times, keep firing.
Oh, one more, and I think this is good for this conversation.
Okay, we're going to talk soccer?
No. Anything we'd be talking football season. Nice to have football season back, huh?
I watched Man U Liverpool today. That's football.
A different type of football. AJ Puck for the 4th time went back-to-back yesterday.
Yeah.
I noticed that, and no one's talking about it. I was talking about it in the postgame show going, this is big, because I don't know if he's ever going to be a starter. He may. I mean, you guys may still see that. But that's that role that if guys are only going to go 5, a guy that multiple times a week can come in and give you 2 to 3 innings is going to become a really valuable guy for a staff if you're still limited to only so many pitchers. How valuable is that guy, and could AJ Puck really be that guy?
Yeah, I mean, we came into this year knowing exactly that role was going to be critical with a young staff, or a staff that occasionally, guys were going to get beaten up early. And to be honest, like, our staff has done a great job. We haven't had a lot of 2nd and 3rd inning exits. Guys have really sort of grinded it out. But in today's game, that role is critical. I would love to say, like, we knew AJ would do that. Obviously, going back-to-back days for a guy who's never had a full season of work was a concern, but he has now, like you said, gone back-to-back. I think he's able to get stretched out. Like, is he a starter in the future? I think there's still a chance. He came up, he was developed as a starter, he did it in college. So I think we're holding out hope. But if not, like, he turns into that guy who's, like you said, incredibly valuable.
That's a weapon. You bring a big lefty out throwing 99, 98.
Yeah,
wow.
Look, anytime you got relievers who can consistently go 1+2 innings, not have to churn through and throw 4 different guys out there, you're at an advantage because you know what you're working with.
How is Manchester United doing? Because they're the big boys on the block, right?
Not as much anymore. They did get a big win over Liverpool today. The new manager lost his first 2 matches. If he went 0-3,
he's got to go.
If he went 0-3, it was going to be tough. So they got a big win at home today against Liverpool. So it was an exciting day in the Premier League.
Is that your favorite sport other than baseball?
To watch now, it is. Yeah, those are the best athletes in the world. It's incredibly competitive. The narratives around those clubs are so much fun. So, yeah, right now, watching, and my son loves it. My son plays FIFA. He knows all the teams, all the players. Like, he talks more about his fantasy soccer team than anything else. So, yeah, we're big into the Premier League right now.
It's like Cody in MLB The Show. All he does is play this video game and tells me about this team and who he's trading for. And I'm like, oh, my God.
So I know where Pulisic might end up more so than I know what's going on in the NFL starting quarterback race right now.
Well, I'll tell you this. keep bringing the young guys. This is exciting. We're enjoying this.
Fun couple of days.
It's a lot of fun, and it makes post game a lot lot better. I know it doesn't matter.
That's what I'm here for.
Yes, thank you very much. David Forst, the general manager of your Oakland Athletics, right here on A's Cast Live.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than the Last Dive Bar. Hi, everyone. Ken Korak here, and my friends at Last Dive Bar are helping us celebrate our longtime home. Last Dive Bar has the most unique merchandise for all Oakland baseball fans. T-shirts, sweatshirts, the Ray Fosse line, and my personal favorite, the lights have taken full effect. Visit their website at lastdivebar.com or follow them on social media at Last Dive Bar. All proceeds are invested back into the A's Community Fund and their affiliated charities. Go to lastdivebar.com. That's lastdivebar.com.
Humanity has accomplished a whole lot so far. We created penicillin, the automobile, and the internet, not to mention drones, duct tape, and the hot dog. It's all thanks to the power of human connections. And Ring Central's here to make that even easier, more seamlessly and securely, on a platform built to grow your business. Say hello to a whole new way to say hello. Visit ringcentral.com and say hello to possibilities. Ring Central. Message, video, phone, together.
Some things just go together. Peanut butter and jelly, cookies and milk, Oakland and Kaiser Permanente. If that last one caught you off guard, it shouldn't, because Kaiser Permanente has been helping keep Oakland healthy since our very beginning. And as the official healthcare partner of the Oakland A's, that won't be changing anytime soon. Whatever you may need, you can trust Kaiser Permanente to help keep you feeling your best. Kaiser Permanente. Thrive. Visit kp.org today.
Coming in at 5'3", it's #1 mom. She switched to Xfinity and got the all-new 3-for-1 bundle. Unlimited internet, streaming, and Xfinity Mobile. All for what you could pay wireless companies for just one 5G unlimited line. Boom shakalaka. Go to Xfinity.com/3-for-1, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity Internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
This is Chris Townsend for the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. Great news! Our indoor dining is back, along with our beautiful patio dining. Come taste our world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 83 years. The Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek has one of the most dynamic menus, plus a full bar. Pot pies, gourmet burgers, sandwiches, salads, flatbreads, and more. Don't forget, we still do takeout and delivery. For all the information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
When Northern California businesses need some pop in their lineup, they call the bank rooted in the East Bay, Mechanics Bank. Since 1905, Mechanics Bank has been helping Bay Area and Northern California businesses find success and perform at the top of their game. See how they can make a difference in your business today. Call or stop by your local branch or visit mechanicsbank.com. Mechanics Bank, the official East Bay bank of the Oakland A's. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Hey A's fans, we've got a great deal for you. Get 4 tickets and parking for all Friday night games starting at just $39. Pick from great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more.
Outside corner, ring him up. And Eaton can't believe it.
Grab the crew and head to the Coliseum with friends and family any Friday night this season. 4 tickets and parking starting at just $39 for the whole group. Tickets are available at athletics.com. That's athletics.com. Bring the whole family out to the ballpark for Nickelodeon Night on August 27th, presented by Chevron, with fun for fans of all ages.
Pitch around a bunt, he pushes it, and Seth Brown makes a great leaping catch.
Come see your A's take on the New York Yankees, meet some of your favorite Nickelodeon characters, then head down to the field to see the drones take flight for a dazzling post-game light show. Tickets start at just $15. You won't want to miss this. Find your seats at athletics.com today.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is a national brand with family-owned prices and service. You can shop at one of their Bay Area locations, and all stores are sanitized and safe, or you can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. NestBetting.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you'll get 10% off your entire order. Nest Betting, love where you sleep.
Innovation that's at the heart of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students map genes from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
A's Cast Live continues from the town. Here's Chris Townsend.
The great Dave Brunetti is here, and if you haven't seen his piece on A's Cast or on YouTube, what we did with him, wouldn't you say phenomenal new podcast? What is the new podcast that we have, Commander?
Inside the A's that we launched. You can first episodes with Dave Brunetti. You know who's going to be an interesting one when we're going to have to get her, because we did 30 minutes with Dave Brunetti. We might have to put infinite time when we talk to Pam Pitts, because she's been here since the early 80s, and Pam likes to talk. And that's who I'd like to get next.
Pam, I just think you'd be great as a guest. I'm not going to go Cody and say just she likes to talk.
But Pam has stories.
Stories for days. She's got a lot. Pam Pitts has a lot of stories she can't tell.
Well, maybe off the air we'll hear something.
Yes, off the air. Off the air, Pam Pitts might be better than on the air. Oh, my God, the sun went down finally. I don't know. It's hot.
By the way, have you ever seen a left-handed second baseman? Because Donnie Baseball's out there right now.
Oh, the great Don Mattingly.
He was playing first during infield.
By the way, Donnie Baseball should be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree. I'm not saying because he's right there. I'd say if he was 3,000 miles away in Miami.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if he doesn't hurt his back, he gets to those. But look at his prime years. MVP. He was the best player. I mean, he was one of the best players, if not the best player. He was one of them. There's a lot of. I mean, he played with Dave Winfield. I mean, there was great players during that time. But
it's just unfortunate he only got to play in one playoff series.
I mean, there's been a lot of him inside the captain.
True. Think about it this way: Mattingly's managed more playoff games than he's played in.
Yeah, they were
terrible.
Folks, when I was growing up, the Yankees stunk. The Yankees weren't in the postseason every year. The Bronx Zoo, they were an issue. By the way, who we have at 2 minutes?
Yeah.
You know what we really haven't talked about? And they talked about today, our guy Mad Dog predicted that in a 7-game series, the Mets would beat the Dodgers.
Who are losing to the Yankees. Aaron Judge hit his 47th.
Judge hadn't hit a home run in a while.
9 games till today.
Dodgers have won 39 of 47.
It's pretty good.
Dating back to June 29th.
Think about that. The A's have 45 wins on the year. They won 39 of 46.
39 of 47. They're winning every day.
They need to go 32-10 to get the tie the Mariners 116.
They lead the majors in ERA, 2.58, runs per game, 5.8. So they have the best pitching, and they score the most runs. That's insane. Their OPS is 841. Urias is on the mound. And his last 11 starts, he's 10-0 with a 1.99 ERA. He's got 30. You know he has 33 wins since the start of last season, most in MLB.
I didn't know he had the most, but he won 20 games last year he won 20 games last year and nobody talks about it. He was I think 20-3 last year. He's having another good year this year. No one's talking about him. They talk about Kershaw.
They're 10-0 in his last 11 starts. He's 10-0 in his last 11 starts with a 1.99 ERA, and no one's talking about him for the Cy Young.
Yeah, it's it's Sandy Alcantara.
Alcantara.
Yeah, running away with it. You call him Alcantara. I call him Alcantara.
I mean, 13-6, 2.40 ERA. This guy, I mean, the Dodgers. All focus, obviously, will be on the Subway Series and A's Marlins.
Big series, first time since 2017.
I mean, where's the set of MLB Network to have everybody here for this series?
Well, I mean, Shea Langoliers was on IT earlier.
I mean, seriously. The Fish are in town. When the Fish take on the Yankees, you got to be ready to rock. All right, we got to get out of here.
We got to go.
Good show today.
It was. Tomorrow, we're hoping to have Joey Wendell, JP Arancibia from the Marlins broadcast team, and hopefully Shea Langoliers.
Didn't Ken Korak's wife drive him to the airport when he got called up by the Blue Jays?
I want to say, I think you told me that story, so we might have to ask Ken.
His wife is now retired from baseball, but his wife was working for the AAA team in Las Vegas. They were the Blue Jays, and I think she had to drive him because, like, he got called up there to get him to the airport. I think it was Ken Korak's wife who drove Arncibia to the airport.
Well, if we don't find out from Ken, we'll ask him tomorrow when we get a chance to talk to him.
All right. Well, we would like to thank Glenn Geffner. We'd like to thank J.P. Sears and the general manager of your Oakland Athletics, David Forst, for joining us on A's Cast Live. Coming up next, A's Total Access. We'll see everybody tomorrow right here on A's Cast Live.
The Coliseum has gone by many names, but none better than